Good evening and welcome to the European Racing Series GT3 Championship Round 3 at Imola, as we are really just starting to get well underway with qualifying there. Not even a second to think as the cars start coming out onto circuit. Wow, look how many there are all together. As we look down the field, you can see cars in cars. This is going to make for a very interesting qualification. We're with the BMW of Cyprian Daskalus. I'm sorry, I am not very good at pronouncing names. I am Husky, and I'll be here for the qualification and the race here at Imola. Imola being one of them circuits that can give some very interesting challenges for drivers. I find that some corners, as the Bentley in the background has just proven there, can be very deceptive, in fact. Especially that chicane, as I've had times where I've run the car directly into it and I've thought, oh, you know, the chicane looks very open and very easy, and then the car's gone, no, we're going to the seaside today. Which is always a fun moment. Hey, let's see if we can jump on board. We can, as Cyprian is just heating the tyres, so too is that McLaren out in front. We'll have a look. We'll run on board for a lap as well, and that gives me a beautiful opportunity to walk you guys through a lap of the Autodromo di Enzo Ferrari Imola, to give it its full name, or Imola, as we know, together and together. So we're coming out of the final corner, the Ravazzas. And there's a kink just as we head across the line. There is the line, and there's the kink. So we have the run to turn one, which is this left-hand flick. Look for the braking point. Where does he brake? Just before the 100 for turns 2, 3. Make sure you don't run out all the way, because you don't want to ruin your line into turn 4 there, which is just what's happened through the Variante Tamburello. Now, into 5 and 6, the Variante Villeneuve, or Villeneuve as we call it nowadays, because, you know, it's easier. Up the hill now into Tosa, turn 7. Keep it tight. That curb can lift the car depending on the vehicle you're in. I struggle with it in the Audi, but you know, sometimes other heavier cars might do it better. Through turn 8 as you crest the hill now. 9 and 10 of Pirotella. 9 and 10 as the track then starts to fall away from you as you run to Alta. To Acqua Minerale. Sorry, Alta's next. Acqua Minerale, the double right. What Imola is best known for, in fact. Now we get the run towards Variante Alta. The second chicane hit the first curb, hit the second curb. There is an invalidation just wide there, but you can use a lot of the curb. Then the run down the hill under the Celia Bridge, that a friend of mine says looks like a pizza box. Then hard on the brakes. Your downhills, I remember, braking distance will be longer. Into Ravazza 1, turn 17. And then Ravazza 2, turn 18. Now just the right-hand flick to finish this 19-turn circuit. And across the line, that sums up the 19-turn circuit. So the first lap at the minute, the fastest lap is for Matthias Kedzia in the eSport First 64 BMW, a 1 minute 40.890. Second place going to Gutmann in the number 97 BMW. So BMW, I was about to say BMW top 4 lockout, but then Kosmaziuk goes into 4th place with a 141.745. So at the minute, Kedzia being the only driver in the 40 seconds, but this will surely change. He was slower in Sector 1 than Gutmann by about a tenth of a second. And with 10 minutes of qualifying you'd expect some movement. Here is Frederick Gutmann for the Luma Racing Machine. I think he is just ahead of Gutmann. In fact, no, Gutmann's actually just behind him as Soldatov, yellow flag. I think he is just getting out of the way there. Few drivers yet to make a lap as well. We've got 41 on the grid, which should give us a very interesting and very, very tight race around Imola. We see Soldatov head across the line and slot into E4. Pretty much the top 8 drivers are already in green on the Delta times. Some more green than others. There should be some movement up the front of the grid, and I expect. Really, qualifying is an interesting one. You can... So someone I know used to say, you can have a bad qualifying and still do okay in the race, but you cannot have a bad race and do well in the qualifying. Because qualifying, you have another chance to make up for any lost time. But in the race, you struggle. And sometimes that's a problem, as we see Oliger going off of the circuit there. At turn 4, the exit towards Villeneuve, which he is now going through, that would have invalidated the lap time substantially. How about run on board with a car that I am not used to seeing very often? In fact, we'll run on board with this Ferrari, Fabrizio Campanella, as he's just coming out of the Variante Alta towards the Celia Bridge, and Ravazza 1 and Ravazza 2. So he'll be starting a new lap. You see on the brakes, I think he's just trying to get a bit of distance up to the Audi that is in front of him. I can't quite make out who it is from this camera angle, but we move on. The gap up the top has gotten increasingly tight as well, in fact. Now sitting at just under a tenth, 800ths of a second between Soldatov and Ketzia. BMW looking rather dominant here, as we see Campanella head through 1, 2, 3 and 4 with lightning speed and some quite good precision, in fact, hitting the curb on the entry to Villeneuve. Now hitting the outside curve. Make sure you don't run it too hard. Up we go towards Tozer. How wide is he going to take the entry? Quite wide, but manages to hit the inside curve as well without unsettling the car all too much. Then we'll see him run down towards the... Oh, some gearing trouble there, I think we could just hear. You could just hear the gears struggling a little bit there. I'm not sure what had happened, in fact, but a driver who is looking to make moves is this man, Jonas Fawkes. I believe he will be looking to close that gap up between himself and the top 2 positions out on track. We'll have to see. We go onto the rear wing of Stefan Hildebrand. He's got one of the other Audis behind him. I can't quite make out who it is, but almost all over the rear, as we see a Bentley just stop there in thankfully just off to the side of the road. Hildebrand currently sat in 23, I believe, at the time of me looking. as Max Oliger is now looking to set a faster lap time, 1.5 tenths quicker through the first 4 corners, but it's all just bled away with that dip out onto the curb. I'm just going to drop out of the Discord. To try and save some temperature. It is an absolutely sweltering day here in the UK, and it is absolutely sweltering. Actually, not too bad out on circuit. 23 degrees ambient air temperature, 29 degrees ambient track temperature. Your qualifying leader still remains as Kedzia, with Soldatov in second and Forks in third. Soldatov still being about a tenth off of Kedzia. So we get views of drivers running through the first few corners. Forks heading back out for another run. Needs to make sure not to get in the way of the Ferrari though that was coming in behind him. I think that was Campanella, but the Audi's just got away. The acceleration on the Audi is insane. Here is another almost qualifying battle we could have launch away here. It's Vela and the number 16 BMW, which, you know, could be a very interesting thing, but I'm sure the drivers will look to distance themselves from each other before the lap starts. Normally people seem to do this around Ravazza 1 and 2, as we just saw the Audi getting loose. Gala goes through, gets 28th, and then is immediately pushed back down to 29th position, 1.8 seconds off. I mean, kind of insane. You think the top 34 all within 2 seconds of first place, and then 35th down to 40th is where it starts falling away a little bit. But you know, some people aren't qualifiers, myself included. I always struggle with qualifying. I'm better across a stint, and I'm sure that's something that drivers all over sim racing and maybe even the real world will agree, is that, you know, sometimes qualifying just is not your thing. As Vasi Grama goes through 4th place now with a 141.140, so close to the 40s. Forks as well in the 141s. 141.112 is the time for Grama to beat. Grama as well went fastest through the first sector with a 21.677, but then it fell away a little bit through sector 2. Doing that over the curb probably won't help your case. Ooh, it's going to be tight, I think. Single lap qualies and quali runs I can struggle with, because it just sometimes, you know, it doesn't come together. But if you're doing across an entire stint, I find it's easier to get a lap time like that, because you get a lot longer to gel into the car as well. I mean, these drivers get, I believe, an hour-long practice session before qualifying on the server as well with the conditions. So there is definitely the opportunity to improve, as we see a Bentley off there, and then we see Nelson Abrahosa going off at turn 2 through 4. So that will be a run for him back to the pit lane for a little bit. As my phone is giving me an alarm. So we're heading into the last minute of qualifying now. Some drivers will not be able to set another lap time. That is sometimes just the way the cookie crumbles. Rowan Oliger looking to be 2 drivers who will not be able to set another lap time. Yeah, very much so. If they're not in the pits, so too is Yativ as well. Okay, so now getting everything ready for the race and ensuring Yeah, with Stefan Hildebrand, he's under pressure from a Bentley behind. Can't see the number plate on that, nor can I see the 7-segment display. BBH. Not quite sure who that would be, but we come now to the end of the session. Matteo Capogreco heading into 32nd, just over 2 seconds off, 500s off, as there goes BMW into the shadow realm. There at turn 2. However, this is your pole sitter at the minute, provisional pole sitter of Matthias Kededzia. Sorry. Running that lap time of a 140.642. 3/10 off of Soldatov, who came through in 2nd position. We'll see some more drivers coming across the line, but I'm not sure if that 40.6 will be beaten. Back as we get more drivers heading across the line. Here is Opera Rares aborting his lap. A few drivers also heading into the pit lane. It's very nice when drivers actually do that, because it means it just gives a nice, you know, a nice circular finish to proceedings. I don't know what I'm on about. Campogreco is still looking to improve his lap time. He's not got much to catch up to Hildebrand nor Kraling as well in 33rd and 32nd respectively. But the battle for P34 is well and truly on. As I've never noticed that sound actually in the background of just people talking. Across the line, Campogreco actually slots into 27th. That just shows you how compacted the mid-pack actually is. So, your starting order. Kededzia takes pole position, followed by Soldatov, Gutman, Forks, Grama, Antfriv, Oliger, Campanella, Komjazuk, Pitchik, Pelziansky, Svirkov, Kwiatkowski in P13. P14 goes to Daskowsklu, Rowan 15th, Velas 16th, 17th was Mullard, 18th was Desiak, 19th was Ulrich, 20th was Rares, and that's just your top 20, all within 1.5 seconds of pole position. It gets even more impressive the further down we go. Enche comes through in 21st, 22nd was Savsku, 23rd goes to Kleeser, 24th to Brady, 25th to Yativ, 26th to Wozniaz, 27th to Campogreco, 28th to Geller, 29th to Tempara, 30th to Clays, 31st to Abranhoser, 32nd to Siakan, 33rd to Kraling, 34th to Hildebrand, 35th to Piervu, 36th to Zink, 37th to Catlano, 38th to Costina, 39th to B.F, 40th to Bonds, 41st to Taylor, 42nd to Parks, and 43rd to Silarusso. As we get the 2-minute 30 countdown on the grid. This is the point now where drivers will be able to just have a play about with their setup, make any last changes. Some drivers prefer a asymmetric race to qualifying setup, which, you know, for some people it's a thing that's useful. For some other people it might not be that useful. So that's the beautiful thing about sim racing, is a lot of it is your own personal preference to how you like to drive it. Which myself, I use qualifying as a over-inducive setup testing session and a warm-up session more than anything else, which makes life very interesting when we have a warm-up session. But in ACC, warm-up sessions are not a thing. So 1 hour and 5 minutes. I'm going to turn the broadcast overlay back on. I'm going to turn it off for the first lap of the race, as ACC has a problem where it goes absolutely mental and no one is where anyone else is. There is a pit window as well. All drivers must make one stop within the pit window. I think it was Vela at Silverstone last Wednesday, when I was joined by my good colleague Biggles, who is not here with us today. They have to make one pit stop in that time. Failure to do so will, I believe, see the driver with it's either a 30 or a 45 second penalty. It might even be longer. It might be a full DQ. I'm not too sure how ACC does it. There is, I also believe, a small chance of rain, which we saw at Silverstone, and that can make things very interesting. But for the next little while, it looks like it's going to be dry, dry, dry. If you are new to GT racing, the cars will go off for a single file formation lap. They will then line up in double file for the rolling race start. So off goes Edzia into turn 1. There is, you actually start basically at turn 1, which I always find funny. I always fall foul of calling this corner that they're just coming up to now turn 1, this left-hander here. I always say this is turn 1, and then the right-hand is turn 2, but in reality, it's turn 2 and turn 3, which, you know, forgive me, my brain is smooth. Sometimes it really is. As you see, the cars appearing over the way. Set the Twitch cookies. I've now also got the chat open, so your messages will be seen. If you would like to talk to me, your messages will be seen. Maybe not immediately, however, I will attempt to see messages as quickly as possible. Hello, Ben. Hello. What's your expectation of the race? Where are you? Who are you tipping to win? Are you supporting anyone in general? I think it's going to be very close. Let's just move that so I don't knock my drink over with my phone cable. That would be extremely... What's the word? It would be extremely not good, I would say. Go through. This is P17, and yeah, that mid-pack is very, very compact. You think the number 27 will win? Very interesting one. Forks being in P4. It's definitely doable. A lot of it will be consistency over an hour, because an hour is a decent length of time, especially with a pit stop and a pit window as well. It doesn't leave much room for strategy. Collision between the top 3, clash of the beamers. Well, as people would say, they are BMWs. And we all know the jokes about BMW drivers on the roads, don't we? As everyone just getting an absolute smack on the brakes to heat them up once more. We are about to go green. Get ready. We'll see who wins the battle of the Beamers at the front. The Audis there looking a bit outnumbered by the amount of Beamers. 2 Beamers ahead and 2 Beamers beside, and just 2 Audis there, almost trying to fit in. It's like that meme, isn't it, of hello fellow teenagers. But I get to do the thing that I love to do as we head to the line. We don't go green yet at Imola. That always gets me as we run down to the actual start line. And without further ado, we go green at Imola, and we'll quickly see just who gets scared. I think Soldatov might have it, as down the inside by another Beamer. There is a clash of the Beamers at turn 2. The Audi's going ahead. Both Audis losing a lot of ground, in fact, as we see a lot, and I mean a lot of jostling around the place, as well as the Audis 2x2, and even further back we can see more and more battles happening. I know people say about the commentators curse, but is that maybe the chat curses? Oh, round goes a BMW, not a BMW, sorry, a what's that car? A Mercedes in the background, an AMG, and oh my god, it is pandemonium. The camera cut at the most beautiful time to just see an absolute gaggle of cars heading down. This is Vela in the number 54. We'll get a ride on board with him. You can see the number 23 Svirkov just ahead of Vela as well, and you can see they are looking all over the place. As we get onto the dashboard, Svirkov is going to try the inside, but then he gets the outside through the second part of outer. Will that open him up to Vela though? Possibly. As we run down to start to finish the first lap, and as per usual with AZC and GT Racing, Vela getting very, very tightly squeezed there, but the move is made, and so too does the number 16 BMW of Dascaliu follow in behind as well. But as we jump onto the rear wing of Vela, we get the broadcast overlay. Grama has a 5-second penalty. We will see the power of Audi acceleration, which will one day maybe be nerfed, but they haven't done it yet. And on the brakes, Vela manages to close the door just in time. But Svirkov is going to be looking, and he is indeed looking feisty. He'll try to actually get the inside through Villeneuve, which he does indeed get, and then opens up Vela to the BMW as well as they head through Tosa. Which car will get the better grip on the getaway? That will be the question. Will it be BMW? Will it be Audi? Audi, in fact, gets the better traction out of the corner, but this battle is far from over, because that BMW is all over the rear end of Vela. Absolutely all over the rear bumper. Does the Audi have a bumper? It just sort of stops at the back, doesn't it? I'm not sure. That's a discussion we can have. Does the Audi have a bumper? I'm going to say no. The BMW does. It's about 98% bumper and grille. And, that is something that Vela is going to be very interested to see. The BMW and the McLaren both making a mistake outside of Alger and putting themselves up against each other. In fact, if I was Vela, I'd be loving to see that in my mirrors. As, oh, Brady down the inside. The Porsche, and I think that was the Lamborghini of Hildebrand as well, getting collected out of that. The Porsche was Clay's. Oh, Brady there just tried massively down the inside in a move that I don't even think was ever going to work, as my signature voice cracks are happening once again. That's sort of the entire theme around me in places that I go to, is then down the inside there goes Tempara as a big crash. Hildebrand collects Brady. Is that retaliation? And then the McLaren there of, I think that was Catalano, takes down Brady as well. As we get the onboard camera, I'm sure if there was a real driver in there, he would be miffed. As the BMW tries the inside at Villeneuve, number 12. Brady gets very, very loose, and the BMW goes through. And then down the inside, an attempt there from Yativ as well. I didn't think that wasn't Yativ, was it? It was Yativ and Kiliso. In fact, so both Yativ and Kiliso tried to have a go, as now we're with Vasi Grama, who has that 5-second penalty, which will be served in his pit stop. He's got forks all over the rear of him, and he's got a little bit of a train forming with the two Audis as well. Definitely not what you're going to want to see. As we get, the BMW has a very, very distinctive downshift down, doesn't it? You can quite clearly hear the sequential go as it runs down the gears. As towards another lap we go, the start of lap 3. Edezio has already pulled a 1.2 second gap behind as well, and this battling is going to slow everyone up as Forks maybe look to the inside at turn 2. I'm sort of happy he did not think about that move, because that would have ended more or less like that, in fact. So never mind, basically everyone has... Oh my lord. So that is still going, in fact, as that has collected a lot of drivers. Vasagrama in amongst that as well. Let's go back and just see what's happening and see. I think that was started by Forks, who just taps the outside. The Audi gets collected, and so too does Vasagrama. The Audi comes back, hits Vasi again. Whoever that Audi is that went through the middle is absolutely, you know, top 10 in avoidance. And then we see the Audi comes back on track, collects 2 BMWs. Vasi gets collected by another Beamer. That is not what you would have wanted to see happen there. Groma, Kwiatkowski, and Anfrev heading into the pits as Brady's off. That is at Piratella, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Smacks it into first gear. I think the traction control might have been turned off for that one. Just tries to get the car round, and what an intense first couple of laps. We're with Maxim Kosmiuk, the Ukrainian driver for Benzino, following Pitchik ahead in a Ukrainian coloured car. It's quite interesting. Number 1 and number 141 cars respectively. Some people do prefer it as numbers. I guess numbers are one of the most important things in motorsport, more so for endurance racing, where you know, too many drivers get in a car and you get a bit confused. But not so much here, as a bit further up we actually missed it. Soldatov has taken the lead of the race as well, and is now pulling a gap. The camera disappears. Camper Greco tries the outside line. It can work. I have seen it work. But sometimes it doesn't work, which I know that's a bit of a stupid answer, and you know, a bit obvious. It's like the old if it doesn't rain, it'll be dry. We saw there Kosmiuk looking to the outside, but he just didn't quite get the run for it, I don't think. But there'll be more opportunities. 56 minutes on the clock. Having a gander at the chat. Or if it's broken on my phone. Here is Lucas Virkov. He's got a nice little gap separating himself from Daskialu behind, which is definitely something you'll want to see. Here's Andrei Sirkan chasing the rear end of Ervu. In fact, as we get the dashboard camera down the gears, you can see just how much more curb the BMW can take. I don't want to say they can run the sausage curb, but I think they can run the sausage curb. In fact, as there's still battles happening here, there, and everywhere. The Porsche behind. But Clays is very much trying to catch up to the rear end of that BMW. He's holding on to it, and you know, a little bit of a run. Maybe not on the straight, as I don't believe that's the that's the Porsche's strong suit is straight line speed. But in the corners and braking zones, I've heard it's almost second to none. But maybe not if you go as deep as that. But you could actually use the overspeed, maybe try and get the run down towards Aqua Minerale. Not quite as it seems. The gap there sitting at about 6/10 as they run up. But that gap to the pack ahead of Tempara with Hildebrand, and Piervu is getting closer. And here we are with Bev. With Yativ right up the rear bumper. One of the BMWs as well. Oliga sitting in 8 as Campagreco. There's a little bit of grass there. I think the race control was getting a little bit happy with itself, trying to immediately say no, there's a yellow flag the second the driver hits the grass. That is not the case. And a little bit further up, here is the battle for the lead. Matsius Kedzia versus Soldatov, Konstantin Soldatov. 911 now. Kedzia started the race in pole position and lost the lead a couple of laps ago. Now holding on to the rear bumper, but this little battle here between the two BMWs has garnered a 7-second gap already, which over the course of, you know, just about 10 minutes is insane. Like, I actually find it really surprising how quickly drivers manage to build these gaps. Because, you know, we've only had 6 laps. You know, the lead changed hands about 3 laps ago, and they've already built up that gap, which is now actually sitting at about 7.5 seconds. See, they are just running nose to tail. I'm not sure how they are going to match up here. I'm not sure where Kedzia is going to look, as he is just swinging the car out maybe to get a look. The inside here can work, but you have to make sure you can cover off the inside through the second part of this chicane. As we will jump on board with the BMW, we can see Soldatov going a little bit tighter, maybe just to defend that line, slow up Kedzia on the exit a little bit more. Pardon me. See, that gap has just extended a little bit, but it seems like that gap extends and then that gap retracts. Where is the move going to be made? Is the move going to be made? Yeah, I mean, these two seem pretty content with just running nose to tail with each other. Which isn't a bad thing either, to be entirely honest. Running nose to tail together can actually work. Because you're not going to slow each other up, and you don't want to slow each other up either. You want to ensure that, you know, you're building that gap to the cars behind as quick as possible, which sometimes is easier said than done, as we're back in the mid-pack now with battle for P21. Siakan chasing down the rear end of Piervu, with Clays chasing down the rear end of Siakan as well. BMW's looking very mean. I'm not sure why, but that grill is starting to grow on me just a little bit more than it used to. Ulrich is chasing down the rear end of Wozniaz as well, the 717. Looks like that BMW has quite a lot of damage on the front end of it. For some reason, my auto hotkey has decided that now was the point to start working again. So I'm wondering why Discord was going mental and just pasting ease in the chat. And that'll be why. As we see Forks chasing down the rear end of this pack of Audis of Mullard and Vella. With McLaren in the form of Desiek up ahead in the number 17 vehicle. As we get the dashcam footage from the Audi R8 LMS Evo 2 of Jonas Forks. He was involved in that collision earlier on. He's now in P14. Definitely a bit of a mountain to climb, but it's definitely one that can, in fact, be climbed, as the gap for the lead has tightened back up again. Seems this gap tightens and then loosens up once more. Watching, I'm just looking, seeing where the advantages sit. Where are people going to push? Where will they defend? Where will they attack? Do they have this information in their ear? I know normally when I do racing, I typically have someone giving me that information in my ear. Some drivers like it, some drivers do not. It's all a matter of preference as Forks there down the inside of Ben Mullard at turn 2. Very, very good move. Very, very clean, very quick, and pretty textbook. Will Mullard be able to catch the rear end of Forks? That will be the big, big, big question. Typically a question that's harder to answer. You see the gap there between the Audis now sitting at around 8 tenths between the lead Audi in this pack and the bottom Audi of Ben Mullard. The gap between Vela and Disiek as well, which is P12 to P11. It's at about 1 second to 1.1, as that shows entirely how much more curb the BMW can take in comparison, which insane. Insane as Kaczynski there under attack from Oliger behind the Audi there. Quite a nice livery, Audi. I didn't notice that had the shattered glass effect. Typically not an effect that you see work very often on cars, and it's always great when you do see it work. Oliger in the background as well. Is he going to try the inside at Tozer? He's tried to open that door, but that door just was not open. In fact, now Yativ on the back of Anthony Kostinger. Will he look to the inside at turn 2? No, he doesn't. He stays behind. Quite a smart move, actually. He's making force mistake, in fact, is the word that I meant to say, through turn 4, and ensure that you can maybe get a better run, but that is not the case at the current moment in time. We're back with this Audi battle now. Jonas Forks still chasing down the rear end of Vela. That Audi was involved in the earlier collision, keep in mind. And here is the back. Aaron Hoser had an off at turn 2 earlier on. He's now in 30th position, attacking one of the BMWs there. I'm not quite sure who that is. I think that was Glazer, but I'm not quite sure. Yes, it was a number 28 machine. Now Vela still under pressure, but the BMW of Mullard has actually caught back up. Vela has obtained a 15-second penalty as well, which will be taken in the next pit stop. Across the line, a 145.590. To put that in perspective, sorry, 142.590. Put that in perspective. Sorry, a 143.770. No. Put that in perspective. Mullard's last lap was a 143.3, and Forks there just sneaking up through turn 2 and turn 3. Now Mullard will probably be wanting a piece of the action of Vela as well. We have an absolutely massive train here. Aaron Hoser trying down the inside of the .F. Has he made the move stick? He has indeed. But the Ferrari might attack back. Let's see now, that Audi, will it... Sorry, that Aston Martin. Not an Audi, it's an Aston Martin. So many car brands, so little time. See the lead battle once again. They are still just nose to tail. That gap has been fluctuating throughout the entire race thus far. Soldatov still holds the lead. However, Kedzia will probably be wanting to take that off of him as soon as possible. Oh, that sounded like a bit of rev bouncing there out of Ben Mullard's Audi R8 as we get the onboard camera. In fact, over the curb. Can't quite hit the sausage curbs in the same way the BMWs can. It is a shame because, you know, you can get quite a lot of speed from using the curbs as much as possible. Over the curb, through the Variante Villeneuve as well. Vela hitting the sand. That bleeds speed so quickly. We've already seen this race, how quickly that can bleed your speed off. Get a bit of a run onto the grass as well. Now, Soldatov has been very, very good at keeping this gap steady between himself and Kedzia. For now, you know, the past 8 laps, no, more or less the past 20 minutes. And not sure what's going to happen once the pit window opens up for these drivers. Who will dip in first, who will dip in second. Soldatov not really get the opportunity that Kedzia does. Kedzia can react to what Soldatov does if he stays in. You know, there's an old monicum of if the guy ahead stays out, you pit in, and if the guy ahead pips in, you stay out. Which, you know, I'm not sure how true that is in racing nowadays, both pit and sim racing. Especially with the rise of the undercut and overcut. Both have their advantages and disadvantages. It all depends, I suppose, on if you're in traffic, as we see Dan Clay's going up the inside there of Hildebrand into turn 2, but he gets not a great exit out of turn 3 and turn 4, which is going to open Hildebrand back up, but maybe a run through Villeneuve as well. Through to Villeneuve, he manages to cover off the inside at both points. Now the BMW is right up the backside of the Porsche, who goes to the outside to try and defend. But the BMW will slip it up the inside, maybe. I think that'll be Piervu ahead of Clay's, but I'm not quite sure. It is indeed the Porsche of Clay's back down into P22. Quite a very good bit of vision there by the BMW to see the inside getting opened as Clay's tried to cover up the outside through Tozer. But we head under the 2 bridges that remind us what game we are playing. You weren't sure, it's ACC. Here we are now with Olive Pipchik. He's been slowly but surely clawing his way up to Campanella throughout the race. The gap now sitting, hovering around a second more or less. I'm sure we'll see a battle there later on. In fact, we may be due quite a few good battles throughout the race as we go 40 minutes of race action. To still come with a pit window as well, and penalties up and down the grid could give a very, very nice very nice look at the at how strategy will play out, as people will have to, you know, factor in penalties while thinking of, you know, how they're going to be affected by them. But the pit window is now open. 15-minute long pit window. So we maybe see drivers pitting in. Bonds and Sadzku already, and Brady also pitting in down further down the field, which definitely something to think about doing. Olotov and Kedzia are staying out for now. Pit check now right on the rear bumper, actually, of Campanella. But that gap, not that gap, well, yeah, that gap as well actually has been steadily decreasing. You'll possibly see drivers taking tactical decisions depending on who's got penalties where. It's always a tactical shake-up with penalties. It's something that, you know, if you can react to, you can benefit a lot more off of it than you stood to without reacting. Dean Vella has managed to keep Mullard behind him for now. But how often will that say as Forks heads out back onto track, manages to get cleared by the two lead BMWs. Kedzia now very much being a lot more aggressive on the rear bumper of Soldatov. Possibly trying to get ahead in the pit window. Maybe to try and ensure that he can slip himself the best chance if they both box in at the same time. We will see Mullard. He must be getting a little bit frustrated on the rear bumper of Vella. I know I do when I'm not going to say stuck behind another car for a period of time, but not being able to get past can be very, very frustrating. As my phone's just turned off, so I'm going to quickly grab the chat back, plug in my phone and grab the chat back. Which would be very handy, as I do like reading the chat. I do like talking to people in the chat. It's a very good way to, you know, get that viewer engagement. Kick is right under attack from Forks. Forks only served his penalty. That wasn't Forks then coming out on circuit. Must not have been Forks coming out onto circuit. It must have been someone else. It looked like the Audi of Forks, but I was clearly wrong as Kazniaki comes through the pits. Kedzia, Pitchik, Komizyuk and Dasklisu have all pitted in, but Soldatov has stayed out, so he'll be maybe trying to get the overcut. In fact, if Kedzia comes out and gets an unlucky hand from traffic, that could spell drama. But we won't be sure yet. Oops. Oh, we've got some time. Run. Cosmic hasn't yet pitted in. Vitso Campanella also has not pitted in. Now in P2, Soldatov has boxed in. So too has Oliger. Kaziansky has stayed out, and so too has Gutman. As here we go. Here is a battle and a half. Belarusov under attack from Kezia, who goes right up the inside. Have to see as the pit window coming out. Siluso comes in. We will see. There is advantages and disadvantages to pitting into different bits. And it's all a game of thinking and figuring out when is best for you to box in. If you choose to box in at the wrong time, you can have problems. I'm just having a look in amongst the different chats server, getting my results loaded up as well as we get another yellow flag. I'm not sure what for. It has stayed for a bit longer than before. I'm not quite sure as Pievu grabs himself a 30-second stop go. Hildebrand grabs himself a disqualification. I am not quite sure what for. But might have been for having a crash and reversing on the circuit. I have seen it before, as we see Oliger right on the rear end of B.F. Someone who has yet to box in. Here's your current race leader on the road, but once strategy kart starts to play a part, I don't expect that will be the case. Curb. That Audi is trying to hit a lot more curb than a lot of people would give the Audi credit for. But Nakoska, King, and V.F have all boxed in this lap. Now Lucas Virkov also boxed in. He's going to jump up to P13. A bit of a gap now towards the rest of the grid up ahead as almost drifting that Audi through the second corner. We'll see just how he goes. The pit window listing in amongst the place. 5 minutes left, just over on the pit window as well. So the drivers will have this time to choose how they want to do it out. I mean, drivers who have yet to box will be needing a bit of a nudging, I would say, to themselves to remember, you know, box in, the penalty's not worth it. Hervu has come in to serve his stop-go penalty. Very handy. Rare's getting a drive-through, in fact, which is normally what you get for track limits. In ACC, you typically get 3 no time gains to make a warning, and then 3 warnings before a penalty. Some corners, like I believe the exit of Variante Alto, which I've just gone through, bumping both wheels over those sausage curbs, I believe is an instant track cut warning. Not a no time gain, just a flat warning. See, we're on the rear wing of Gala. In fact, he's got Oliver chasing down that rear bumper very, very quickly, lap after lap. Not quite sure. There's a blue flag just up ahead as well. I believe that could be the BMW that's there. In fact, we head through turn 2. I am just looking about the place. Let's jump further up the grid to Zvirkov, who is right on the rear of Desic now. I believe Desic might have just pitted, either be it for penalty reasons or for pit stop window. 3 minutes 20 left. Mullard has yet to pit up ahead in P2 at this moment in time. He will probably tumble down the order as a result. We'll see. As right, here we go. Where is he going to look? Could it be the inside through Ravatsas? No, stays behind for now. That is a smart move, I would say. Sit in the draft and get the move at turn 1 or turn 2. That could be where you look, as there we go. Through turn 2. Maybe does the Audi slip it ahead? He does. Very, very good move there by the Audi. It's one of those cars that I still think its straight line speed is unrivaled. Could also be one of those things where you just run the car and just hope and hope and hope you get yourself a good finish. I mean, I go into every race and I never expect a good finish. I just aim for a finish. In fact, which typically happens. Sometimes it doesn't, and you know, have a contact at turn 1. Abramhosa waiting, in fact, for Costinger. Which, you know, very good sportsmanship from Abramhosa to wait for Costinger to carry on. That is sportsmanship that we love to see in sim racing. No, if you make a mistake and you put someone into a half spin or a full spin, it is, you know, more or less just very, very good sportsmanship. You just wait for them. It's something that I always do if I have a collision that I know to be my fault, and it's something that, you know, helps drivers. They can trust that if they, you know, get tapped out, that the car that has been the perpetrator of such collision does wait up for them. We are just watching around now. Bebev is just keeping Taylor behind. There's BMW there as well, who's not in that fight, I believe. It's Gutman. Yes, it is. So Gutman will be under... Gutman won't be under blue flag. Sorry, both of these drivers will be under blue flags from Gutman as he heads up the inside at both Ravatsas. No, he only manages to clear one car. Both Forks and the Imola are now in the pit. Oliver is also looking around the place. Well, he's on the back of the number 4 Audi of Kazianski as they jump up to 8th and 9th respectively. Now BMW goes to the outside through turn 1. Now to turn 2. Could be a risky move. Try and make the Audi go deep. Possibly. Not quite to be yet. But Oliver has been looking strong, so we will maybe see Oliver get that move. Get that move made. There's Ole Pitchik. He's still got that number 1 Audi behind him as well, as he has done for the entire race. Komjazuk has just been almost a mainstay in Ole's mirrors throughout the race. I think every time I come to Ole or to Kaziuk either, they are nose to tail of each other. As Kaziuk, you can just see the rear end bounce. That's going to have cost him a whole heap of time. Further up for people who are following the lead battle, Soldatov, after the pit stops, has come out into the lead of the race. Here, down the gears. That Audi, that number 1 Audi, is getting very, very close. I think maybe a bit too close for comfort. There's a Jocelyn Schink. Stick with this Audi on Audi battle for a little bit longer as we have the Helicam. Now, they'll be in both equal machinery, so where will the attack come? To the outside, maybe the inside through turn 2. It is going to be the inside. Up the inside for the number 1. Are they going to touch? No, they're not. That was a very, very edge-of-the-seat move there. Ole just got squeezed onto the inside curb. There's still enough track there for it to be clean. I honestly thought that they were going to touch through turn 3, but very, very good driving from the 2 Audis to keep it clean. Now, speaking of an Audi, Matthias Kaczynski is under attack from Oliver just behind him as well. Again, something that you probably do not want to see. And it's at least something that I would never want to see is a car, you know, bearing down on the rear bumper. As mirrors say on all of our road cars, I'd expect, you know, objects in mirror may be closer than they appear. And as I was doing this little tangent, Oliver gets up the inside on the exit of the Variante Alta, now down towards the Ratzel 1. The inside for the BMW. Could the Audi just try and get the overspeed? The inside for Ravazza 2. They are still side by side. It is going to be a drag race. And the best way to see a drag race is from the air, where already the Audi is right ahead. But that BMW is looking, trying to stake his claim to the inside. That's Tamburello, turn 2, 3, and 4. Flips it back to the outside. You can see all the tyre marks appearing through these corners as well as the race goes on. Oliver almost had his move made there in the final sector, but as all things, sometimes a move just is not made to be. And in amongst this as well, they have started to actually catch up to Kazianski just a little bit. And Campanella has also caught up. Bitchik further back as well. Sorry, further ahead of the field, in fact. Sorry, my brain is a little bit behind on what my words are meant to mean, but with 20 minutes of action left to go, the pit window has closed, and now it is a race to the flag. Everything is still up for grabs, including up front, where that gap sits at about 1.3 seconds. In fact, you can see Kedzia from the rear wing of Soldatov definitely there will be time. Dustin Bonds for the Aribo Racing Team down the inside at Ravazza on Taylor, but Taylor takes a position straight back. Great bit of counter-attacking driving there, but now get a drag race, and as I said, best way to see a drag race is from the air. You can just see that Audi accelerates away down the straight. In fact, the BMW, I believe that's Rares, is wanting to get involved as well, but the inside through turn 2 seems to be strong, but then the inside through turn 3 also seems a bit stronger there, as further back that BMW of Rares has made his move through turn 3 on Taylor. So in the end, Bonds made his move, and Opera of Rares saw his opportunity as well to take his chances and move up a position to into 28th. Now Campanella, we're going to jump on the passenger on the dashboard. In fact, as you head through Variante Audi, you can see just how much curb and how you can hear how much curb they make. It looked like a mistake from Pitchick, who goes to the outside to defend through the chicane. Campanella thinks better of it and pulls out. That is a smart move. Could it possibly be a move down into the Ravazzas? However, that will be the question on everybody's mind. Get onto the other camera set. Be very cinematic factors. Not sure. I think that Audi is going to pull away down the straight, even with the draft. I think he might just pace match a Ferrari, a 42.340 that lap for Pitchick, for Campanella, sorry, 42.340, a 42.660 for Pitchick, and a 41.795 ahead for Omaziuk as well. So that is the way the cookie seems to be crumbling at the minute in time. Get onto the rear wing of Ole Pitchick. Engineering fact about the Audi R8 that I read, the LMS Evo 2. The wing is mounted from the back, so the front edge of the wing can work its entire length. The previous iteration, it was mounted from the front, and apparently the engineers saw a decent enough aero efficiency gain by rear mounting the wing that they have done it for this iteration of the car. Now Campanella, he pulled out of the move into Variante Alta last lap round. He does it again. Could be trying to capitalize the exit, but it looks like Pitchick has gotten the better exit. In fact, run down now. Here's a battle a bit further back. Rares on the back of Bonds. This will be a move, I think, into the Ravazzas, because the Audi is very, very quick down the hill. However, Rares will get the inside line through Ravazza. Could the Audi try the cut back? No, Rares has made the move for now, but we'll once again see a drag race down the straight. Both drivers hitting the stand, so I think Rares will get out ahead. B.F has not made his pit stop, so he will be subject to penalty at the end of the race. Well, as we're going to have to quickly jump a bit further up to the battle for P5, Pitchick versus Campanella. These two have been absolutely nose to tail. Oh, very loose air on the exit for Campanella. That is not going to be what he would have wanted, because that has closed his gap now down to 1.7 seconds, and I think that might have knocked with confidence just a little bit. As also further back, Rares right on the back of B.F there. We just caught it. It was actually on the grass. Coming up to Piratella, the fastest lap. Oh, that's a very good question. The fastest lap currently sits at a 141.087 set by Kezia. To put that in perspective, the best lap from Soldatov, who is the car ahead of Kedzia, is a 141.485. Just under, just under 4/10 really, if we go into the thousandths, I guess, between the two best laps. They're lapping about consistently the same as well, as Reyes gets up the inside of the Ferrari through Ravazza as well. Gets a little bit of a love tap on the way through too. Now Bonds will be looking on the Ferrari as well, as he gets dispatched by the number 16 BMW of Jasikasklu. Bonds there, blue flag by the number 23. That'll be Svirkov who gets let through. I suppose he'll be on the run against that BMW. Further up there, you can see the yellow BMW. Yellow and black one just ahead. The gap there currently sitting apparently at about 1.4 seconds, but I don't think that's the case, because it's a lot closer than that. To be entirely honest, further back, these two have been absolutely ruthlessly going at each other for laps now. It's costing her and Abramhosa got a little bit of a door bang through Aqua Minerale, but they're both still driving, and I think Abramhosa could be driving away a little bit more. Further back down the field, we have Abramhosa, sorry, not Abramhosa, Bebeth, chasing down the rear end of Bonds, 2/10, but Bonds may be having a few problems. Try and keep up with the cars ahead, but you want to make sure that you can run away or just even pace match. Here's your third place driver, Frederick Gutmann, who's coming up to a battle of Abramhosa versus Kostinger. My brain just had a bit of a blue screen there for a minute. But Ola Pitchik as well has driven off a little bit from Campanella, who was giving him pressure. That gap now sitting at about 2 seconds. Here's a car I'm very surprised about. Ben Mullard. He pitted literally at the end of the pit window. Has dropped down to 12th, which maybe that strategy could actually be paying off. Always sounds like from this camera that one of the cars is absolutely destroying its rev limiter as we get inside the Bentley. Camera's mounted on the left because, of course, Bentley, being a British car, drives on the right-hand side. I'm not sure. Is that full position? It's P16. It's Ulrich. It's not, in fact. This car is a lap down on him, as you can see there by the factory 314 car, piloted by Pierre is at the minute in P31. Helps himself past, and in that as well, Pierre gets the door opened up for Cameron Greco as well to go past. So Cameron Greco took that opportunity of Pierre being lapped and has taken it with both hands. Always a very good sign for a driver when they can take an opportunity like that, because they don't come often. When the car you're battling is, about to be lapped, you can just grab the opportunity. You can just grab it and get yourself past. It's a very, very good skill to have. It takes a little bit of forward thinking as well, seeing what's going up, what cars are around you. It's not the easiest of things to do. As we get onto the rear wing of Kyprian, he is being chased down by Svirkov. Svirkov is looking dangerous. He has actually closed that gap up very, very well between the two drivers, between himself and Sirpan up ahead. I'll be interested to see how this battle unfolds. As we get a yellow flag, it's Givio and Cameron Greco. We will have a look on the replay at what happened down the inside. Cameron Greco just gets taken at the rear end by PV. Looks like, you know, the braking distance was just miscalculated a little bit, and no harm, no foul, really. Peerview has come off a lot worse than that, and it looks like the rear end of Matteo Campagreco's flat-out sim racing car is still completely fine. Yeah, it's a BMW, so of course it is. You know, that car has about the rear end size of Swindon. No. Gonna be like 4 people in the chat who actually know where Swindon is. So with 8 minutes left on the clock, there is still room for improvement. Sirkov could push himself up into 9th place, further solidifying that top 10 finish. However, it's maybe sad news to report, but the gap between Soldatov and Kedzia is now 2.5 seconds between each other. People might not be what you want to see. Steve Taylor just lost out of position there. Costinger, we'll have a gander at that as Costinger, Taylor just went deep at turn 2, and Costinger took that opportunity with both hands and ran off with it. So that is going to be a massive hill to climb once again. Oliger here, sort of in the middle of what I call no man's land, really. No one for position behind, no one for position really ahead. This is the closest battle we have on track at the minute. It's Lukas Virkov versus Kupan Daskalsku. Yep. I am really bad at names. Yeah, still sitting at about 5 tenths. We're going to jump on the helicam and just see if that Audi catches up, because part of me is thinking that BMW is running a very, very low wing to pace match the Audi down the straight, especially seeing as I'd expect the Audi would have draft down the straight as well. That gap closes up to just about 4 tenths, which only a tenth less than what it was when they started running down the straight. In fact, car 28, we have a fan for Liza in the chat as well. I'm not actually sure where he is at this minute in time. Here is Kleiser. He's currently sat in 31st. Sort of safe in that position. 2 seconds behind to Capagreco. But 20 seconds ahead out to himself and Taylor. So that is, I think, maybe a bit of an insurmountable mountain to climb, as now this battle has just hotted up. Virkov right on the rear bumper of the Digital Racing Squad BMW. The curb, the Audi is right there. Where is he gonna look? That will be the question as they run down now to Ravats's 1 and Ravats's 2. Under the bridge, it looks like a pizza box, and now I've said that, some of you will never be able to unsee it. I know when I was told about that one, I could not unsee it. Now, this is the closest Virkov has been down the straight. 3 tenths between them. They head towards turn 1 and turn 2, 3, and 4 at Tamburello. So there is turn 1, which I hate calling turn 1 because it isn't really a turn. Is there going to be an attempt down the inside by Svirkov? No, he stays behind once again. Probably quite smart, as there is a BMW off just up ahead. No harm, no foul though, because he has closed himself off of the circuit, got himself away as quick as he could. Is very, very good. So we'll see. For the best part of 5 minutes left on the clock. Time is running out for Svirkov as he looked through Piratella. He had a little look to see if that door was going to be open. The answer is that door was not open. Let us jump on board with Svirkov onto the dash cam. You can just see how close the rear end of that BMW gets. Now, I'm not sure attacking the inside through outer really works, because the outside you can get mugged absolutely insanely, but you can trick the car inside, the car ahead to defend the inside. You can grab the inside through the second part and run away with it, which is always a very, very handy thing. Taking the curve, trying to just open that corner out as much as possible. To see how much margin there really is for error, especially when you're locked in horns in a battle like so. Now down the straight, 3/10 separating the two cars. That BMW does look like it's getting closer, but I don't think it's getting close enough for a move into turn 2. No, it's not under braking. Oh, I thought we were about to go into the back of the BMW there, but no. And that gap extended by half a second through one corner due to that closing speed under braking. Seven tenths, in fact, that will be getting very, very spicy. A 141.9 was the last lap for our leader. We'll see if he proves it this lap. Sure he will. A 141.7, and the car behind of Kebzia, a 141.8, so about a tenth. Yeah, a tenth. Lower, a tenth, 1/10 and 800ths. In fact, and some change between the two. Slower, 1.6 second gap between the first and second place BMW, but not a long time left. 2 more laps, I believe it will be, this lap and the next. You will almost, I think, maybe see a challenge for the lead at the end of the race, but time is running out, and I think Kebzia might be having a few problems. He's fallen off of the pace throughout this second stint. He was right on the bumper of Soldatov earlier on, and it just seems that the pace has, you know, leaked away a little bit through the second point, so we will be coming to start the final lap this time by, sorry, as round through the final two, second to last two corners, because there is a corner here as well. 27 is close, is in fact, here is 27. He is chasing down Mullard. 7 tenths, 6 tenths really sitting at the gap. Mullard has that BMW at the inside, who, I mean, yep, that's that is a way to let, you know, cars that are blue flagging you past. You know, that is 100% a way to do it. Let's see. Sports has been right up the rear bumper now. That gap has closed up massively. Could it be a move into Ravazza? No. Trying to just maximize the exit as much as possible. Maybe an attempt down the way. Here we go. In the draft, maybe the timer will tick to 0, which will mean that the next time the leader crosses the line, that will be the end of the race. To the outside goes Forks for turn 2, 3 and 4. He doesn't quite get the overlap, which means Mullard gets to defend the inside through turn 3 and turn 4, but Forks has closed that back up. He's now going to try the inside through the first part of Villeneuve. They are side by side, but Mullard, I think, will just hold on to it by virtue, but that's not where you attack. If you do that, you try the inside at Tozer and try to defend the cutback as well, which Forks has done absolutely amazingly. Over further up to come through to take the race win is Soldatov to take the victory here of the race, followed by Kedzia in second place. What a drive for him. Qualified P2, finished in the lead of the race, but who's going to come out in this battle that we were following on earlier? It's Mullard against Forks. We'll see as the rest of the cars are starting to come through. I think Forks is going to take it. Mullard 7 tenths behind, so I think that's going to be Forks to come through P12 and Mullard to come through in P13. Ulrich as well, right on the rear end of Tempera, but that time is very steadily, well, pretty much out now, and the corners are very quickly running down. Late move down the inside at Ravazza. No. It looks like Ulrich is going to be happy to take P16 from Tempera in P15. As they did, yeah. 16. Wow. I believe that is the end of the race. Nope, still got a couple of drivers to come through, the Porsche and the BMW, before we can get our results. Here we go then. Your results, your provisional results, as there could be stooding at the end of the race. Solodov came through to take the victory, followed by Kedzia in second. Third was Gutman for your top 3. And now for the rest of the grid order, rounding them off in sequential order. Podmyazuk comes through to take 4th. 5th was Pitchik. 6th was Campanella. 7th was Kaziansky. 8th was Oliger. 9th was Daskalu. 10th was Svirkov. 11th was Desyuk. 12th was Forks. 13th was Mullard. 14th was Anache. 15th was Tempera. 16th was Ulrich. 17th was Vela. 18th was Gala. 19th was Kraling. 20th was Sirkan. 21st was Clays. 22nd was Zink. 23rd Delurso. 24th was Reyes. 25th was Abranhoser. 26th was Bonds. 27th was Sevscoop, and 28th was Costinger. 29th was Taylor. 30th was Campagreco. 31st was BF. 32nd was Kaisler. Wow. What a race that was today. We had dramas, we had crashes, we had everything that you would have wanted. We will quickly see if anyone is going to come in for a post-race interview. So chat, come on, give me your rating of today's race. How was it? You know, we'll do it out of 10. How was the chat's race rating of the entertainment that our drivers have given us this evening? I'm going to say a very, very good, very, very quick 4 out of 5. There was lots of drama. It was very, very enjoyable. Fact. Jump into the caster room and see if anyone comes in. We will give it a couple of minutes. Close this up now. I can close up ACC as an absolutely boiling day, and I think ACC is proving to my computer that even if your day is hot, temperatures are not a thing you can take overly lightly. Also remember, down in the panels, ERS is happily partnered with GPORTAL. Visit them online at their website to receive a 5% discount. The card for that is down in the Twitch profile nowadays. I believe it is. So we'll give it a couple more minutes and see if anything come about for an interview. I think with the heat for a lot of drivers, I'm not sure about other countries, but I know where I am, and I know my fellow Brits will be absolutely sweltering. Apparently, we've got this weather in to stay for a little while longer, which, please no. Please no. Temperature is insane. I have a gander the race. So I don't believe that's the one I am looking for. We'll over in the round 3 results have come out as yet. They have not, so I will round off the stream hopefully when they come through, if they come through in the next couple of minutes for me. So chat, I'm going to say a 4 out of 5 for today's race on my ratings. Not sure about the rest of you. As the time is starting to get on, I'm going to call it there. That was the 3rd round of the ERS GT3 series. What an exciting round that was. Join me next Wednesday for round 4. Round 4 being at round 4 being at Suzuka. So the Japanese legendary circuit, undulations, a bridge, and 130R, absolutely insane track. That'll be next Wednesday. Until then, Ivan Husky, from myself and everyone at ERS, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.